Lesser magic operates as a highly systematic application of applied psychology, visual aesthetics, and sensory triggers, engineered to alter a target's perspective and conquer their will. By shifting the focus away from historical spiritual mysticism, this philosophy reframes interpersonal influence as a calculated science of human manipulation. To successfully command an environment, a practitioner must first master the art of capturing absolute attention, ensuring that a target's analytical defense mechanisms are completely bypassed. This foundational focus acts as the primary gateway through which all subsequent behavioral manipulation is executed, making it the most critical component of casual, day-to-day sorcery. To categorize and exploit these mechanics of attention, the philosophy establishes three distinct behavioral archetypes: sex, sentiment, and wonder. Practitioners are required to perform a cold, introspective self-assessment to identify which category, or specific combination thereof, aligns with their natural physical assets and personality traits. Attempting to project an archetype that contradicts one's genuine structural reality results in a jarring lack of cohesion, which instantly alerts a target's conscious suspicions. Success in lesser magic relies entirely on maximizing one's natural category, transforming personal traits into highly functional tools of environmental control. The sex archetype represents the direct application of overt physical magnetism, carnal allure, and erotic charm. Individuals who naturally possess these traits are instructed to amplify them systematically, making themselves visually and behaviorally intoxicating to their chosen targets. By actively stimulating desire, the practitioner intentionally compromises the target's logical faculty, rendering them highly compliant and eager to please. In this framework, physical beauty and sexual confidence are not treated as passive genetic traits, but rather as dynamic, aggressive tools used to disarm opposition and secure compliance. Conversely, the sentiment archetype relies on the sophisticated art of misdirection by projecting a safe, deeply familiar, and entirely non-threatening persona. Typically embodied by older individuals or those with naturally unpretentious dispositions, this archetype leverages comforting cultural tropes, such as the eccentric warm neighbor or the grandfatherly advisor. Children are easily disarmed by the vivid fantasies these figures project, while young adults instinctively seek them out for guidance. By cloaking their underlying intent beneath a facade of domestic safety, the practitioner entirely neutralizes suspicion, executing long-term objectives without triggering resistance. The wonder archetype commands attention through an entirely opposite mechanism, relying on an appearance that is strange, severe, magnificent, or diabolic. Individuals within this category do not seek to attract through warmth or sexual desire. Instead, they evoke a deep instinctual fascination that is fundamentally rooted in apprehension. Targets comply with the wishes of a wonder figure because they are subconsciously unnerved by the latent consequences of non-compliance. This archetype leverages the psychological weight of mystery and intimidation, proving that an imposing, unconventional presence can dominate an environment just as effectively as raw physical attraction. These visual archetypes are heavily reinforced by the subconscious olfactory responses of the human animal, which motivate choice far more than civilized society cares to admit. The philosophy emphasizes that over-sterilization, commercial deodorants, and synthetic fragrances act as artificial blockers that disrupt natural human chemistry. For instance, a man seeking to enchant a target should allow the natural, unscrubbed secretions of his body to pervade his immediate atmosphere, offering a primal contrast to his polished attire. Women are similarly encouraged to utilize the intrinsic chemical stimulants of their flesh, recognizing that natural oils are potent biological tools of attraction. In addition to purely carnal chemistry, olfactory manipulation encompasses sentimental draws designed to trigger deep nostalgia, childhood memories, and domestic security. Aromas associated with home cooking, specific baked goods, or distinct environments can instantly dismantle a target's psychological defenses by evoking simpler times. Appealing to an individual's stomach through deliberate olfactory engineering is highlighted as an exceptionally efficient method of emotional manipulation. By pairing a calculated visual archetype with a precise olfactory trigger, a practitioner can seamlessly engineer an immersive sensory trap that dictates the target's emotional state. While lesser magic handles the outer world, greater magic governs the structured psychodrama performed within a dedicated ritual chamber to isolate, manipulate, and exhaust intense human emotions. Ceremonial workings are divided into 3 strict classifications based on the driving force behind them: lust, compassion, and destruction. The ritual chamber functions as an intellectual decompression chamber, specifically designed to help highly rational people temporarily suspend their analytical boundaries. Through the deliberate use of candlelight, robes, chanting, and ceremonial tools, the magician enters a state of contrived ignorance, allowing them to freely pour raw emotional energy into their imagery. The sex ritual, or lust spell, is performed with the singular, unyielding objective of creating localized desire or summoning a physical partner to fulfill carnal needs. This working demands absolute visual and mental focus on a specific individual or a highly definitive physical type. To achieve success, the magician must generate an emotional and physical response intense enough to culminate in a powerful, autoerotic orgasm within the chamber, serving as the ritual's emotional apex. Frivolous spellcasting conducted merely to soothe a fragile ego is strictly warned against, as it fractures focus and wastes vital adrenal energy. The compassion ritual focuses on generating intense sentimentality, grief or deep longing to manifest health, material abundance, or success for oneself or others. Operating under the realistic guideline that true charity must begin at home, this type of working handles the emotional weight of distress, illness, or professional stagnation. The practitioner must allow their genuine empathy or self-pity to flow completely uninhibited, culminating in the unrestrained shedding of tears. This outward outpouring of sorrow cleanses the mind of consuming anxiety, transforming a state of helpless suffering into a focused, dynamically directed force for change. The destruction ritual serves as the systematic execution of calculated hatred, disdain, and unyielding contempt to completely annihilate a chosen enemy. Within this context, the philosophy dismantles a popular esoteric fallacy by asserting that a target does not need to believe in magic to be destroyed by a curse. When an active believer is hexed, they immediately seek counter-magic, remaining consciously alert and insulated from danger. Conversely, a dogmatic skeptic completely dismisses superstition, which forces his instinctual primitive fear deep into his unconscious mind. There, the unacknowledged terror festers unseen, causing the skeptic to subconsciously sabotage his own life through erratic choices and freak accidents. A critical law governing all greater magic is the absolute requirement that emotional force must be completely contained and exhausted inside the ritual chamber. Many would-be practitioners fail because they exit a ceremony and immediately experience consuming anxiety, constantly checking for results or plotting real-world schemes. This continuous worrying leaks vital energy and effectively nullifies the working by spreading the intent thin. The true purpose of the ritual is to entirely purge the consuming obsession from the magician's mind. By exhausting the desire through intense psychodrama, the practitioner achieves absolute detachment, leaving the chamber free to focus on normal, everyday productivity. Furthermore, successful magic requires working in complete harmony with natural laws through a principle known as the balance factor. Practitioners must maintain a stark, ruthlessly honest awareness of their own physical, structural, and artistic limitations. A tone-deaf individual cannot utilize ritual magic to magically acquire global musical acclaim, nor can a plain, unappealing person expect a spell to instantly ensnare a glamorous movie star. True talent lies in adjusting one's desires to align with genuine capabilities. When the absolute maximum is structurally impossible, realizing that a half loaf is infinitely better than nothing separates the successful sorcerer from the chronic loser. The execution of greater magic follows a rigid 13-step protocol designed to guide group or solitary practitioners through a precise sequence of psychological escalation. After preparing black attire, blocking out all external light, and purifying the air with a loud, penetrating bell, The priest delivers a formal invocation to Satan. Turning counterclockwise, the priest points a sword toward the 4 cardinal directions to call forth the elemental princes of hell: Satan from the south, Lucifer from the east, Belial from the north, and Leviathan from the west. Following the core invocation of lust, compassion, or destruction, the practitioner engages in the intense, uninhibited acting out of their hidden desires. During this emotional climax, written requests are impaled upon the sword, read aloud, and burned in the appropriate candle flame while participants respond with the words, Shem Hamfarash, and Hail Satan. A single rich stroke of a concert gong seals the request, which is followed by the reading of an Enochian key to solidify formal allegiance to the powers of darkness. The ceremony concludes with a final, 9-fold ringing of the bell, to act as a pollution of finality. As the echoes fade, the priest pronounces the definitive closing phrase, "So it is done," instantly severing the practitioner's conscious mind from the raw desires unleashed within the chamber. The material devices utilized within the chamber are selected for their explicit symbolic value and psychological utility, rejecting the traditional tools of right-hand path spirituality. Male participants wear hooded or cowled black robes to minimize distraction and provide visual anonymity for uninhibited facial expressions, while women wear highly suggestive garments to maximize the room's bioelectrical and adrenal output. Rather than utilizing cold stone or metal altars, the philosophy dictates the use of a living, nude woman as the central focal point. This living altar represents the ultimate validation of the flesh, acting as the passive, receptive vehicle of the Earth Mother. This physical focus is further reinforced by strict rules governing ceremonial implements, such as candles, the chalice, and the sigil of Baphomet. Only black and white candles are permitted, with the black candles placed on the left to absorb requests for power, while a single white candle is placed on the right to symbolize the hypocrisy of spiritual magicians and consume curses. The chalice represents the vessel of ecstasy and must never be made of gold, as gold is historically bound to heavenly self-denying realms. Crowning the entire environment is the sigil of Baphomet, an inverted pentagram accommodating the goat's head, where the upward horns signify defiant duality, and the lower 3 points explicitly deny the spiritual trinity. To finalize the connection between the subconscious mind and the physical world, the ritual utilizes Enochian, a complex magical language older than Sanskrit, originally channeled by John Dee and Edward Kelly. The text strips away historical angelic euphemisms, revealing that these entities are actually angles, serving as structural geometric windows that open directly into the 4th dimension. The 19 Enochian keys are delivered as raw sound patterns designed to provoke intense atmospheric and emotional reactions. From the initial proclamation of temporal law in the 1st key, to the total destabilization of religious hypocrisy in the massive 19th key, these calls serve as the ultimate verbal weapons, ensuring the absolute triumph of the lover of carnal life.